2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders. These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line. This is going to be a live trading video here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
There we go. We're live.
Well, hello friends, and welcome back to another live stream. Happy, what is today? Today's Thursday to you. Happy Thursday to you. Thank you for being back on another show with us. I hope you're doing well. We got some people already in the chat, hanging out and ready for today's market analysis. So shout out to Jordan Peter, Ezio, Young Entrepreneur, Brandon, Emmanuel. Good to see you guys. Denise, thank you for being here. Shout out to all you guys who are hanging out with me live. So just before we jump into everything, I do want to say, if you're watching this at a later point, some of you guys watch these videos after the initial video actually goes live. If you would like to join us live in the future, and you would, that would be fun for you, then you can come here and jump into the chat and hang out with everybody. The best way to do that is we are basically Monday. Oop, that's the wrong color. Let's do, there we go, black. Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. U.S. Eastern, I usually go live and I talk about whatever is going on in the markets. I try and give you guys the inside scoop just because I'm doing the research and things like that to try and share just the latest developments. Australia is really strong today. We do see Australia coming out with sort of a nice upbeat in the pandemic fight. Basically, they're talking about opening up sooner than expected, and things are possibly looking better for Australia. And we do see that reflected in the Australian currency today. We see a lot of strength for the AUD and the NZD. So we're going to be talking about that. Going to take a look at those to see how things are going. And we're going to try and prepare for tomorrow's news, which is going to be the big old-fashioned NFP. Now, NFP, if you don't know what it is basically non-farm payroll, and it's talking about unemployment here in the United States. It's a big figure, and the whole world watches it in the finance department because, jobs in the U.S. can be a leading indicator for other places and other sort of things like that. So we're going to talk about the NFP. We're going to talk about numbers and what we could possibly expect and how we can play it. And of course, we will have the stream tomorrow. Let me fix my camera, by the way. I don't know why it does this. If I turn it on autofocus, it's great sometimes, and other times it's terrible, but we will figure it out together. Don't worry. How's that? Maybe? Maybe not. Maybe it just doesn't want to cooperate today. Give it one more try, and then we'll give up. Yeah, so it should be interesting. There we go. So it should be interesting to see if, the Aussie rally here can continue. It does seem like it has a lot of promise. We'll take a look, for example, AUD USD here today. You can see the Aussie just breaking through resistance with strength. We are seeing a strong blowout by the AUD, and we're going to have to actually start looking at what's going on here with a new lens, if you will, because it does seem like the downtrend is surely being challenged. So we'll take a look here. We're looking at AUD USD on the 4-hour chart. And I want you to just pay attention to the fact that, okay, we had this really beautiful downtrend, right? Things were just looking great. And there was probably, there was definitely a lot of money to be made just riding the trend to the downside there. So I don't want to discredit the bears who made good money there, but it does seem like for now we are seeing a change in the tide. You can actually, if you zoom in close enough, you can see that this little moving average pattern is starting to change. We no longer have all three in congruence to the downside. We're actually seeing a little bit of a shift there, and it may be time for the Australian dollar to bottom out. Perhaps we have seen a bottom for a while there at 0.71. Price made its way all the way down to that point before rallying very strongly. So we're definitely going to keep an eye on that going forward, see if we can find some more setups and things like that. With that said, I do want to see, let me see if I can pull this up for you guys. So hold on, I just want to set this up and then I'll show it to you. Okay, there we go. All right, so I wanted to just pull this up. This is the A1 trend scanner, and I wanted to show you guys just what we have going on today with this. So a couple scans that are going on. I want to look and see if there's anything for the Australian currencies. So it doesn't seem like any of them are really pulling back yet. Although we do notice something interesting. So the AUD, USD, AUD JPY, AUD CHF, they're all actually printing bullish trending signals. So we are seeing that the Aussie currency pairs are strong. In fact, look at I think maybe even more strong than the Aussie ones is the New Zealand currencies. So we can see all the New Zealand currency crosses are very bullish in today's market, but we're not yet seeing any signals to go long. Now, this is the part that I want to pay attention to with the A1 trend scanner. What this thing is looking for is it's not only looking for a trending market, but also an opportunity to actually get into the trending market. It's one thing to identify a trend. It's another thing to actually find setups within that trend. So I will be looking at the Aussie currency pairs. I do like them now. I think that the momentum is sort of shifting here. We may see some upside for them. But I am going to wait to see if we can get some form of signal here on the A1 trend scanner. I've been using this thing in my own trading, and it's been pretty helpful so far. Basically, what this thing does is it looks for a trending market, and then it gives you a signal when things are actually pulling back. So for example, maybe if we saw Aussie CAD pull back to something like this, then you may see opportunities on the trend scanner that say, hey, it might be a buy. So I'll be keeping that on the radar. I don't know if you guys want me to pull this up more often. We definitely could. I think it's very cool just to look at whatever the recent scan is and to see what's trending and what's not. So you can just sort of get an idea of what the market is up to. By the way, if you're not if you don't already have the trend scanner or you're not a gold member with us, those are the two ways to get it. You can either join our gold membership option, which includes all the software tools that we have for MetaTrader 4, or you can just get the tool itself on the website. You just go to a1trading.com and then you can download it there. So actually, I'll show you where, just in case people want to get it. So if you want that tool, if you're interested in it, head over to a1trading.com, go to the trading software right here on the front page, and then bam, the A1 trend scanner is right here. So again, head over to a1trading.com. Our front page has the trading software tools right here. Click that, and then grab the trend scanner or any of the other tools that you're interested in. So with that said, let's continue on with the analysis. So again, I think Australia is an interesting one to watch. You've also got, of course, NZD as well. We'll take a look at NZD USD here today, showing some incredible strength, actually even stronger than the Aussie dollar. We're seeing the NZD USD breaking out of all sorts of resistance. We see this level here, what was major resistance, now breaking out here on the open of the New York session here. So in fact, now we've got to start drawing some of these same levels as demand. And in this case, we're seeing the moving averages aggressively sort of change directions. So is this the start of a bigger trend to the upside with the NZD pairs and the Australian pairs? I think it's very possible, especially if we bring back talks about rate hikes in New Zealand. Some of you guys who were paying attention to the fundamentals with me during the last several weeks will note that, Australia got super bearish off of the reaction of basically the central bank in New Zealand saying, hey, we want to raise rates, but we're going to delay due to the spike in cases here, right? So those cases are just always a bugger for central banks. They always put a thorn in the side, if you will. So now that things are looking a little bit more promising and we may see some opening up in the economies of New Zealand and Australia, it may be worth keeping an eye on these pairs because they may have some more strength to come. Another one that's interesting to me right now is actually Canada. I do like USD CAD to the short side, actually, but for dollar CAD specifically, I would like to see some form of a breakout of this structure. Actually, I'll pull this up because it was worth noting. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. So I'm going to go over to the A1 trading community, and I wanted to actually read out, I'm not sure if Patrick is here or not, but I wanted to talk a little bit about dollar CAD. He made a great point today. I actually have added this to my watch list now because of Patrick's comment here. So Patrick, inside of our Discord, he is one of our analysts on the A1 trading team. And he shared that dollar CAD is starting to feel a bit bearish for me. I'm keeping an eye on a short setup should the hourly consolidation near the range lows. Now, what I liked here is he pointed out that you had sort of this action here on dollar CAD. We've seen price consistently touching the lows here. And what that usually means is that, okay, there's a lot of sort of knocking on the door. And eventually, if the door gets knocked on enough, a lot of times it does open. And so when we look at dollar CAD, I think from a technical and from a fundamental perspective, we may see, Canada, if it comes out with strong numbers, or if the dollar comes out with weak numbers on Friday for the jobs, may be some form of a breakout, right? So we will take a look for sure at dollar CAD a little closer here. Here's the 4-hour chart. Yes, you do have this upward trending market, but again, sort of this slowing in momentum. And if we look on the 1-hour chart, you can see now even sort of shifting momentum to the downside. The big question there for Canada is, can we get some form of a breakout underneath? And this will definitely be one to watch for me on Friday. Tomorrow, we do have the NFP stream, which should be a lot of fun. Make sure to tune in. We're going to be doing actually tomorrow, just for those of you guys who do want to make the stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be going through different currency pairs and setting up things like gold and stuff like that, going into the actual release, and then we'll watch the spike together. If you would like to come to that show, I have already created the stream. What you can do is you can either just go to my YouTube channel and find that upcoming stream and just click the reminder, or you can come back here tomorrow 1 hour early to what our usual streams are. So usually we're at 9 a.m. Tomorrow we are going to be doing 8 a.m. because the news comes out at 8:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern. So 1 hour earlier for those of you guys who are regulars and would like to come to the show. We will be having some interesting conversations tomorrow, just going into the NFP news. Speaking of the dollar, how's the dollar doing today? Well, we see the dollar still hovering around the lows. You can see that we've got some momentum to the downside using the moving averages, but overall the idea here is that we've got structure to the downside for now on the 1 hour and sort of the 4-hour chart here. So going into the news, the market seems to be expecting more bearishness than bullishness for the numbers, right? Again, for you don't for when I talk about the jobs coming out, that is on Friday at 8:30. If you're new to trading, if you're not sure what I mean by the jobs, what I'm talking about is unemployment figures in the US, right? What actually comes out can be very, very market impacting. You can see the dollar spike up, spike down. The stock market can jump or fall. It is very market impacting to see what the unemployment figures are looking like here in the US, because it is an indicator of the economic health. So can you say now the time? The time is 8 a.m. U.S. Eastern tomorrow. Set the reminder. Awesome, Victoria. I'm excited to have everybody there. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. Aussie Swiss and New Zealand Swiss. Sure, we can take a look at those too. I think those are good markets to talk about, especially with just the Aussie and NZD sort of in focus today. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is running away to the upside. And I would venture to guess, let's go check out something on the site. So again, here's the currency heat map on the site. When we look at the Aussie, you can see it is just strong across the board today. Very, very, good move for the Australian dollar today. But let's go look at retail sentiment. And I want to show you guys something. What you'll probably note is that the Aussie currency pairs are probably getting shorted like crazy by the retail crowd. So for example, Aussie yen, 78% of retail traders are short. And let's go look at where is Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss, 68% of retail traders are shorting this market. What does that mean? That means that they are fighting the trend. So the trend is up, the market is moving higher, and the retail traders are fighting the trend and trying to call a top. They're trying to short this thing and saying, hey, it's coming back down. Hey, it's coming back down. But the problem is, this is retail trading 101. When the market is trending higher, they're usually shorting. When the market is trending lower, they usually are buying. So it does seem to me like right now, the path of least resistance is still higher. I think that, with this momentum shift, we may very well see a move back to 0.68, maybe even by the end of the day. With all this momentum, very possible that we could see just a big push right on through to the highs there of August 11th. And of course, July as well. So we put in those big double tops. Now it looks like price wants to come back and retest those. So we'll see if we can get up to that point and maybe even beyond. Of course, if you're short on this thing, as long as you have, some form of protection, maybe some form of stop loss, and you have a good reason to be short, then by all means, do your own thing. But for me, right now, maybe if you're short biased, you could be patient enough to look at this level if you are looking for a longer term play. I mean, this is a daily chart. So what that doesn't mean that, price will come up to this level and immediately plummet. It might mean that, price comes up to this level, hovers around. So, and then maybe starts to trail back should the trend continue. So I wouldn't be, short term if you're 1 hour chart, 30-minute chart, 4-hour chart, that sort of thing. You very well may see price pop up into this area and, knock some of the stop losses out that are up there. Because you probably right now have a lot of people who have stop losses just above areas like 0.68. So you very well may see price go up there and try and grab some of those. That's just sort of what we see happen a lot in markets, especially with this momentum. Very possible that we could just bust right through that resistance. Okay, NZD CHF, we'll take a look at this one as well. This one is just running away today, and you can see sort of the structure of the market very much being challenged here. You have this downward structure, but what we see is a complete shift in the nature here of this chart. We'll look at the daily chart. You can see daily chart is technically bearish, but price is breaking out here. It does look like it wants to sort of make a high. And if you're watching NZD CHF with a long bias, this may be an interesting one to look at. Should we see some form of a breakout, right? If we're able to hold these levels, you very well may see something like this, where you just get a chance to sort of, continue along with the move. So I do like NZD pairs and AUD pairs to the long side. So definitely going to keep an eye on that. Sorry, guys, I'm just getting my thing to full screen. There we go. Yeah. So definitely two very interesting currency pairs right now, AUD CHF and NZD CHF. Why are they so strong? They've actually talked about potentially reopening. And the big reason that was so bearish for these pairs was just their sort of their real struggle with the pandemic, right? They keep, shutting down and locking down for a while, which is bad for the economy. So it's causing them to lag some of the other ones. Well, if they talk about reopening, there could be a bounce back trade for sure, right? Some continuation or sort of a rebound could be in play for some of these currency pairs, things like AUD CHF, AUD JPY, New Zealand CHF, right? So yeah, finally some fluidity in the markets. Yes, we're seeing some pretty big moves there for the Aussie ones, and I think it's interesting because you sort of have the S&P 500 rallying, and those NZD and AUD pairs are generally viewed as more risk on, but they've sort of held back due to the pandemic situation in those countries. We may see sort of a catch-up play where you might have, for example, let me see if I can. I'm going to add AUD USD. So a lot of times we see these markets sort of moving together. For example, during the recovery phase, we saw the stock market moving up nicely with the Australian dollar, right? So I'm crossing the two at the same time on the same chart. So the orange line, let me actually make this a little bit easier. We'll take these moving averages off. And what you can see is a lot of times these two move together. So you get, the Australian dollar and the stock market both rallying, both taking a dip, right? And so what we notice is that as we look at this currently, you can see that there's been a very big divergence. So if you're a divergence trader, what that means is that you have these markets that are usually correlated, usually going the same direction. They are breaking down out of that correlation. And the reason that that was occurring was because you had this big shift in Australia where they were going through lockdowns and pandemics, whereas in the US, the stock market was rallying higher and higher and higher because of the strong sort of bounce back happening in other parts of the world, right? So that's where you had that divergence. Now it does look like we very well may see, sorry guys, some form of a catch-up trade. What I mean by that is maybe now Australia we'll sort of try and catch up to some of that performance and try and marry up with the old correlation. So I think that that is a very interesting play. Currently, the Australian dollar looks very interesting to me. And I was very bearish on this, even a week or two ago. But now that we are sort of seeing those signs of recovery from the pandemic situation, if that continues to play out, the Aussie might be a pretty strong buy. So we will keep an eye on that. I know Frank was very bullish on the Aussie before I was. So Frank seems to be a little bit faster on some of these. Him and I sort of agree sometimes and disagree other times, but he was definitely more right about Australia here than I was. So we will see if there's a bigger bounce play coming. But again, keep an eye on those correlations. You can do those on your chart anytime you like. Correlations are a lot of fun and also very interesting points to note about some of the different pairs out there. And again, NZD USD actually even being stronger than the AUD. But keep an eye on this. Another one, like I said, that is interesting is things like CAD yen. So CAD yen, not quite sort of keeping up with the AUD and NZD. But what do we know about Canada? Well, similar to Australia and New Zealand, Canada has that sort of commodity-based economy, or very risk-on oriented economy. So we very well could see a breakout as well on the Canadian dollar, especially against something like the yen, which is very risk-off. If risk-on sentiment is here to stay, you very well may see breakouts to the upside there on CAD yen, and that is actually why I am currently long on CAD yen. So CAD yen, I do like to the upside. I liked some of the price action on the lower time frames. I'm in a trade right now, so we'll see if that one plays out. And very, very keen to see how that plays out tomorrow, especially with the jobs numbers. The jobs numbers are going to be a big deal tomorrow, because if you get something like really strong jobs numbers, it's going to be interesting to see how different markets react. If the dollar strengthens dramatically, I was thinking about this. I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I'll just share my thoughts. So I'm trying to figure out the dollar and the Canadian dollar, right? They are in some ways correlated, in some ways different. The Canadian dollar is a bit more risk on than the dollar, though some of their economies are tied. My thought here is that, going into the jobs numbers tomorrow, if the dollar strengthens, what also strengthens? Are we going to see the yen strengthen and things like the euro strengthen, those risk-off sort of currencies strengthen with the dollar? Or are we going to see the risk-on currencies strengthen if the dollar comes out strong, right? So this is the thing that's kind of tricky about the dollar for me, is that, when you look at the dollar it's like this hybrid of a risk on and risk off currency at the same time. And it can be quite confusing because it changes teams all the time. So what I mean by that is you're looking at the dollar and you're saying, hey, good jobs numbers. Is that going to be positive for risk on sentiment or negative for risk on sentiment? And you might say, well, obviously that seems positive, right? Good jobs means things are going well, which is true. But at the same time, good jobs means that the Fed may be more willing to step in and create sort of a monetary policy tightening, which is considered risk off. You see how that gets confusing? It's still confusing to me, and I've been doing this for a long time. So, Nick, you're mentioning all my trades. Are you spying? Yeah, I've got your account pulled up on my other screen. I actually just took an all-in trade on gold for you. Hope you don't mind. I'm kidding. We used to make that joke all the time here in the office. We would joke about, what if someone had access to your account and they could just take whatever positions you want, and you just show up to your computer and see this ginormous trade. Good times for sure. Yeah, we've taken a look at a bunch of the different NZD pairs, my friends, who are asking for them in the chat. Definitely keep an eye on them. If you'd like to see them and you weren't here for that part of the stream, you can just rewind the stream and watch some of it if you'd like. It was probably 10 minutes ago. GBP, JPY, another interesting one for sure. I'm very interested, you guys, in this idea of a potential return to yen weakness. Actually, yeah, that's the concept. The concept for me is, are we going to see a resurgence in yen weakness, right? So what that could mean is things like GBP JPY, AUD JPY, CAD yen, Can we see those things start to rise dramatically and sort of break out of some of the downward structure that we've seen for the last several weeks and months? What that could mean is that, we enter into another phase of risk on, meaning stocks continue to go higher, and currencies that are more risk on, like AUD, GBP, NZD, CAD, those things could potentially rise more. I think that watching in GBP, JPY, this is a daily chart. So I know for those of you guys who are on lower time frames, this may not be super meaningful to you, but to me, this has been on my radar for a while. Can we finally see, can this rally turn into something that sends us above the trend line here? Can we show signs of longer term bullish continuation on pairs like GBP, JPY? I would be very interested in looking to go long on the pound against the yen if we started to see this thing really start to break out. But I'm not going to jump to conclusions, because it does seem like, the bears are still able to control this market to this point. I am more interested in waiting to see if we can get some form of a breakout. Higher time frame, that would be a trade that, I could definitely see myself looking at. Got my eye on GJ, looking nice so far, not set up yet. I definitely agree, Ryan. I like this on the long side. I probably wouldn't be interested in shorting it myself. I believe Victoria told us about she told us a little bit about one of her trades that was on the short side. It was I think it might have been pound Swiss that you told us about a couple streams ago. But GJ as well, I'm personally not really interested in shorting this thing. I would love to see this thing break out on the higher time frames and maybe get us into that bigger, broader uptrend continuation. If you guys remember, I always brag about this, but during this period of time, this was some of my best trading ever, was just riding that GJ trade to the upside and consistently, looking for longs and riding that. Because what you'll notice here is that when this thing trends higher, this is like this GJ, right? GJ is the retail trader account blower of currency pairs. I say that lightly because I'm not trying to hit a nerve with somebody who's had their account blown by GJ, but GJ is a professional at blowing retail trader accounts, because what it does is it can sometimes trend disgustingly. It can just trend and trend and trend, and which is great for traders like myself. When the trend is in play and I'm able to just hold on to winners like that, love it. It's one of the best things ever. But what we know about most retail traders is they don't hold on to winners, they hold on to losers. And so when this thing trends and trends and trends and they're holding on to losers, it gets really ugly really fast. We do see GJ shifting into an interesting little thing here, though. We're seeing the retail traders once again pile on to the short side of this market. And the reason that is so interesting is that when you have this, retail traders piling into the short side, that may be an early warning sign that the trend is not done yet, right? If you know that they're all short, we could very well see this thing continue higher and build pressure enough to break us out. I actually really like this idea. What is GJ? GJ is GBP, JPY. That's the currency pair. I love riding GJ. Yeah, it is amazing when it's on your side. It's very frustrating when it's not, but recently it's been choppy. But if we can start to see some form of a breakout, like I said, very interested in watching that. GJ is the most trend following cross, both on intraday and daily timeframes. Great trends. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite pairs to trade personally as a trend trader. If you are not a trend trader, it's probably one to possibly avoid. But yeah, I personally like it a lot. I like the yen pairs just in general when they're trending nicely. When they're not trending nicely, it's not the best. Here's JXY. JXY on the daily chart. The question is, can we get some form of a longer term breakout? If we saw something else like this again, as things open up and the pandemic continues to get further and further behind us, I think that yen weakness is very possible. And if we got another move like that, there may be some beautiful opportunities in the markets to just ride that down. Remember, when we are trading a currency pair, we're long one and we're short the other. So if we're looking at GBP, JPY, and I'm saying bearish bias on yen, right? What that would mean is something like this. We are going long on this currency pair because we're buying GBP, and that means that we are shorting JPY. So again, the trade is not quite set up. If I do take any trades, you guys will see them inside the Discord for those of you guys who are in there with me. If you're not in the Discord, this is what it looks like. I shared Patrick's idea here earlier on dollar CAD, but you guys are free to join. Feel free to join us inside of the Discord. You can see any of the trades that I am taking. So I share my trades here. For example, right now I am long on CAD yen, bullish biased on this, like I just said. So bullish against bullish on the CAD, bearish on the yen. Shared my trade there. So hopefully we can continue to see that one play out. It's going well so far. We'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, so if you're not already in the Discord and you'd like to join our chat rooms, see the trade ideas being shared, you can join and see the trades that I am taking, Frank's trades, Patrick's trades, and then we also have coaching webinars throughout the week. So you can join and see what Joe Barreca out of Australia is currently up to. He's always answering questions and working with members inside of our webinars. So check that out. If you're not in the Discord and you would like to join us, like I said, there's a link down below in the description. And if you use the promo code there that's in the description, you get a discount on the community. So check it out if you'd like to join us. There it is. And with that said, if you choose the gold membership, by the way, you do also get access to the trend scanner here. So this is a tool that we've been using quite a bit recently. You can see there's that crazy strong AUD today, still breaking higher. So AUD still making a push here. You can see it is just bullish across the board on all of the different crosses here, AUD, USD, Aussie Yen, Aussie Swiss. So yeah, very, very cool stuff. If you use MetaTrader and you're interested in this tool, definitely join the group and you can get access to it. By the way, Ryan, I think you're in here. If you want this tool, by the way, man, just send me a message. I'll get it to you. Actually, how do you send me a message? Ryan, do you have Discord? If you have Discord, Ryan, can you email me? And I'm not sure if you're still here or not, but I might be talking to you. But I just wanted to say, like, if you want this tool, by all means, you can get it. I can give it to you. So just because you're on the stream sometimes, and it'd be cool to see your take. We're trying to just play with it and continue to improve it. But it is a tool that we've been developing here at A1 Trading, and it would be cool to see if anybody. I'm an old man. No worries, RT. You can just email me. That works too, I guess. If you want to just email me, I can. Share it with you if you'd like. You don't have to. I just figured make the offer. Guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you very much for joining me. We've got, what is today? Today is Thursday. Yeah, we've got 2 more streams after this. In fact, we've got Ryan later on, so that'll be cool. Stick around. If you are not sure what I mean by that, we have another channel on YouTube. So it is A1 Trading on YouTube, and I'm going to drop a link here for you guys. I want you to join our next upcoming streams. We'll be taking a break here for a little bit, but we've got Lens starting in 30 minutes here. So I'm dropping the link right now. Come join us on the next stream. We're going to be doing some cool stuff and hearing from Lens. I'm sure she's got some good ideas with everything going on. She's always a fun stream to watch. And then, of course, we've got Ryan shortly after hers. So we've got some good stuff coming out for you today. Also, real quick, do me a big favor, make sure to subscribe to our second channel. And you guys, what is going on? The Aussie is literally, I see it in the peripherals of my vision. The Aussie is still rallying higher. Just in the last, since this stream has started, we're up like 20 more pips on this pair. So really crazy. But yeah, make sure to subscribe to our second channel. We've got a lot of stuff coming out for you there, and really, really excited to continue on with that. So with that said, my friends, thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you back in the next one.
I know you were expecting Nick, but my name's Julie and I do the real work around here. I wanted to take a second to thank you guys for watching the show and tell you more about some free content that we offer. One of the things that we offer is a free email newsletter. So if you click the link down below, you can sign up for free market analysis, trading tips, and exclusive offers. Every once in a while, someone here at A1 Trading takes a crazy trade and you'll be the first one to know about it. See you guys next time.